Yo, what's up, guys? We're back at it again with another video. It's going to be another One Piece chapter review. It's going to be for chapter 1188, which just dropped. I think it was roughly yesterday, Friday, that it came out. But for me, it is Saturday night, so I'm still trying to get it out earlier, but work's kept me pretty busy this whole weekend. We are on the cover page of Shonen Jump this week. It's just Luffy eating a bunch of meat. It's really cool with his Elbaf outfit on. It is really cool, though, because they're making another card for the One Piece card game that's like based around this cover art here. So that's pretty neat. After that, we actually cut into the color page that we got, which is awesome. I always love Oda's color pages. They're absolutely wonderful. Half the time, they become like backgrounds on my phone or my computer. Like, they're just so freaking great if you're a One Piece fan. I do think this is a cool one. We get to see the boys, everybody, they're like underwater. I guess going exploring underwater, some ruins or something, because we see like a building around them or behind them. Luffy and Chopper, Zoro, and Brook are all inside one bubble on the back of a big turtle who's got a crown on. I guess he's like the king sea turtle. Frankie and Robin are riding on a crab. Jinbei's off to the side, and he's actually like telling these sharks who are all like saluting him, like at ease. It's all right. And then Sanji's chasing after Nami, who is hugging up on the turtle. And then Usopp's just in the back, staring off at nonsense. Oh, no, he's running from one of the sharks, apparently. But this is going to be a pretty fire chapter. It's pretty much all action, so I just wanted to hop right into it. Let's just get it going. It's where we're picking right back up where we left off with Luffy and Emu. So we start with a very, very minor flash, or not even flashback. It's just the recalling of a certain day is what we get. And it's hello, hello, answer me. And then we get buzz, buzz, kind of like, I guess, a transponder snail. Hello, what the, huh? Who are you? Buzz, this is Emu. Who is this? Oh, me? I'm Joy Boy. And then Emu, yes, Joy Boy is already dead. Remembering, Joy Boy is gone. And then he asks Luffy, so why are you bringing back up these memories? And it's because he turned into his Nika form and we know that Joy Boy had this fruit too, so I'm starting to think Emu did not know Nika, but Emu clearly did know Joy Boy, who had the Nika fruit. So, but maybe we'll come to find out more on that. But we just get right back into it. Emu's just coming at Luffy. He like wraps fire around his entire arm actually, and he goes to swing at Luffy and punch him. Right at that moment, Luffy actually does his very cartoony stuff where his head just kind of jerks down to dodge the attack, like his neck extends, right? And then the flames actually go, oh my goodness, like he dodged, aim down, and they shoot off his arm, the black flames, and they start chasing him. Then they collide directly with Luffy's head, and like all of them have so far, they then instantly make an explosion. They shoot him down to the ground super fast, there's an explosion on top of him, Luffy gets back up, covered in char, but he's all good to go, kind of like when Kaido would hit him with the Boro breath. Charges right back up at Emu, goes to swing at him, and Emu just dodges it, like easy, no question, literally just boom. Jumps behind him. He does then go to stab Luffy in return, but Luffy's actually able to dodge that as well. In that moment, Luffy jumps back behind Emu, tries to do the same thing, but now he's going for a Gatling where he tries to hit him, and Emu just turns and spins his staff and just blocks all of his punches. Luffy seems to be getting pretty frustrated at this point. He's not able to land a clean hit anymore while they're both concentrated on the fight. That does seem to be bothering him. After that, Emu then just shoots out a couple more of like the Omen blasts at him, the black flames. We just get some more explosions. We get Luffy actually trying to do the cartoony running away where his legs are spinning underneath him. He's taking off running. Emu just keeps shooting these at him, and then they start homing in, just chasing him. Luffy turns. He hits a bunch of them with a Gatling, and it just blows him up. He seems to handle that pretty well. While it does cause another explosion, he doesn't really have any issues dealing with the minor explosions when he's punching him. But after this, we get to see a new attack from Luffy. It's called Gum Gum Majin. And he turns in Majin, if I'm not mistaken, is like Japanese genie. It's like Gum Gum Genie. And Luffy turns into some goofy looking Aladdin genie looking ass. Anyways, after that, he quotes out, look, I saw how you were fighting with Loki. I'm not going to let you do that same stuff to me. All right. And then Emu's like, and then he essentially also says, and look, you killed my friend Loki. I've got to get you back. We then cut to Loki, who's on the ground, and he's like, yo, I'm not even dead, dude. And Luffy turns around, and he's like, oh, dude, you're still alive? That's great. Awesome. And then we just get Loki being very frustrated of the whole situation. Emu then actually goes to aim at Loki to shoot at him. And right in that moment, Ragnar stands up to actually block the attack. But right when the flame is on the way over to hit Loki and Ragnar, Jinbei runs out in front and uses his arabesque punch or tile punch and just like makes shockwaves in the air that just blow up the attack before it reaches them. Luffy thanks Jinbei. Luffy's just Jinbei says, say the word Luffy and I'll protect him. And Luffy says, thanks. He's really my buddy. I'll leave it to you. Loki's doing the whole, tsundere, who are you calling buddy, you runt? And then Luffy's like, nice. If you're going to watch him, I can handle this guy. Awesome. So then we just get Luffy and Emu get ready to go back to fighting. We cut over to some of the other Straw Hats. Nami and Usopp questioning, who are in Brook? Who is this guy? Because he's clearly not a God's Knight, but he's also not one of the Elders. And they thought the only people above the God's Knights are the Elders. Because we don't know about Emu yet, right? Brook just mentions how the world government has always been shrouded in shadow. And then at that moment, Gunko seems to be coming free of the ice. We see her beginning to melt free, like her legs and her head are now coming out of the ice, so it's just continuing to melt down. But then we jump right back away over to Emu, where we get the response from Emu this time, actually saying, Gunko, thou hast yet to break the ice. I don't think she could break the ice, but I'm curious as to why he said that. He then says, a man with an afro, who refers to Gunko as Princess Shuri. It cannot be. This implies Emu knows Brook. Now, I think he only knows Brook from probably knowing from like Gunko's past. Maybe he's like seen her past. Maybe it's from her father who mentioned everything that happened on Asperia, right? Maybe it was when he had like taken over Mars and he was there, or like Mars's body who was there, right? In that form, the shadow form where Emu was sticking out from above him. So clearly we know he saw Brook then. This must be him remembering that, like, oh, this is who this is. So Emu's realizing this could be bad, right? This could be a problem, because if it is that person, and probably if it's somebody who's close to the person who Emu has control over, they're probably able to in some way kind of stop his control or limit it, or it definitely seems to bother Emu that that's Brook, and he recognizes that that's somebody who's close to Shuri, and that that's going to be a problem. So judging by how this chapter ends, I'm assuming the next move from Emu is going to be to go smoke Brook and grab Gunko. But continuing on, Luffy uses another new attack called Gum Gum Sucker Punching Bullet, and he just does a big hockey coated like punch while he's in his genie form. Emu, no problem, throws his hand up, blocks it, and then says, didn't you just boast about seeing my whole fight with Loki? Then why do you have such a huge body? And the flames pop up in front of Luffy. He goes to use his stigma attack, Emu does, and in that moment, Luffy transforms out of the genie form, poof, into like a bunch of smoke, spirals down away. Emu then, does the whole omen, starts shooting out a bunch of the flames to him. Luffy takes off running again, just like earlier. But this time, while Luffy's running away, Emu's not just standing there dicking off laughing. He begins to spin his staff, raises it up towards the like omen, the big ring behind him, the eyes, and then it poof turns into one of his little fireballs, and then the fireball whoosh, turns like just kind of glorps, like goes right back into the big ring behind him. And then at that same instant, a big shadow item or a shadow weapon begins to emerge out of the wheel, and this time it's a sword. Emu then grasps it when it comes out, and he calls it the Sword of the Wailing Void. After this sword comes out, literally, just the initial pullout and like swinging it to the ground, we see a tree right next to him, big, massive tree in Elbaf, instantly shrivel and wilt. No leaves, and the tree is like wilting, in like a third of the size, maybe a fourth of what it was. It is absolutely crazy. He then swings the sword once, right out in front of him, and it does the same thing to the entire branch of the tree of Elbaf that we're on. All of these branches just instantly become bare and start wilting. It is absolutely crazy. Luffy realizes what's going on. He's like, dude, the forest is wilting? Like, what the heck? And then it's in that moment, Emu looks up to that Luffy in the sky, and he's like, the view is improving, implying, because now that these leaves and everything are out of the way, right, the view's improving, I can see you with no problem. So I'm now wondering if, because of that being said, if Emu's attacks or his techniques specifically maybe need to see Luffy. Like, maybe the way his flames work, they have to have eyesight on him, and maybe that's why he has all the extra eyes, like, on the ring, and probably why his hockey is probably going to be spec'd really high, like his observation, and it's because he actually needs to be able to see or like know where the location of his enemy is to make use of his abilities. But in that moment, He says the view is improving. Luffy says it's fine from up here. And then we see what I would guess is a panel of Emu kicking off from the ground very quickly. Like flash step, instantly into the air. And then all we see is Gunko. It looks like he's heading up towards Luffy in the air. And he says, "It is clear thou art Joy Boy. Or thou art not Joy Boy." And Luffy's just like, "What?" And then boom! In that instant, Emu is literally in his face. We see Luffy coughing up blood. Then we see some of the fireballs moving up, like shooting up in the air as well. And then they seem to go inside Luffy. It would appear from behind, based on how his hands are, because we see Luffy's hands facing this way, like backwards to us. So it would imply. Well, I guess we can go and say Joy Boy, or not, I'm sorry. Emu stabbed Luffy. I mean, he gored him with this blade. Like, it's like he flew up at him, like Flash Step jumped up at him, and just in an instant, he was on top of Luffy. Stabbed him, is holding him up on the sword, and then I'm imagining that's when these black flames then go in from behind Luffy. Actually, we don't see the sword sticking out of him yet. So what seems to be more likely is that he somehow is jumping up to, like, close the gap with Luffy, and then these fireballs shoot up, but it seems. Well, I'm kind of curious as to what if it said he gets stabbed first, and then at that same time the flames come up, or if the flames kind of come up and attach to Luffy, and then it lets the sword just shoot through him, because the sword does seem to have a fully physical form where you could just stab somebody with it like this. But I can't tell if it's kind of like the stigma, where it's almost instantly like growing out of the flames, or what the situation is, but it does interact with them because we see Emu appear in front of Luffy, Luffy coughing up blood, then the flames that then go into his back, it looks like, and then we see him holding Luffy up on his sword, saying Joy Boy would never be this weak. And this Emu just no diffing Luffy. Absolutely no diffing him. And then the final phrasing, or the final or words of the chapter, the majestic power of the King of the World. And we're on break next week. So I'm going to keep this one very quick because it was a very action-based chapter, and all I have to say is thank you, Oda. I'm extremely happy with the way he did this. If you guys have been watching my reviews, I've been a little dubious as to how Oda's going to handle this whole situation with Luffy and Emu throwing hands now. Because if Emu is set to be the big baddie, the number one boss, the person we have to smoke at the end of the story, right? There is no world where Luffy's fighting him now. Like, seriously. And if he is, Luffy cannot perform well. It would really undermine the rest of the, like, everything else we have to do in that, because there's no way the story's just ending right now with Luffy beating him, right? So it's really cool that Emu essentially just no diffs him. He gives him what I would call the crocodile treatment, and I'm hoping this isn't the only time. I hope we help Luffy out now, and then I hope he does this again. I hope we do not beat him on the second run. I hope this is a Kaido or a crocodile level of smackdown on Luffy, where you're not just getting beaten or almost killed once. I'm gonna beat you down again and again, and you're gonna have to keep getting more powerful before you can beat me. Because that's how it would seem. He really seems like he no diffed, guys, or we'll call it low diffed Gear 5 Luffy. We have never seen Gear 5 Luffy like this. He's literally just blood seeping out of him. He is gored. It reminds me a lot of the scene in Alabasta where Crocodile is holding him up on the hook. And what's funny is, those of you who know, Oda didn't plan for the story to actually be as long as it is, or he didn't think it was going to be. So a lot of things, odds are, for the end of the story were seeded earlier on in, like, Alabasta and those arcs. So I might make a video that kind of shows these things that kind of line up, but, like, this is a great panel that's almost, like, verbatim what Crocodile did to Luffy. When they first started the first clash him and Luffy did, he folded him. Like, Luffy tried to fight him, tried some techniques, tried to be cunning, tricky, and wasn't, and got no diffed. I wouldn't say it was the same with Kaido, because Kaido more or less pissed Luffy off, and then Luffy ran at him and got mogged, but it's kind of wild, guys, because Luffy was, like, good to go. He had just fully healed up, right? Eaten all the food, full stamina, and he got absolutely bodied here. I'm curious where next chapter is going to start. I'm assuming it's not going to go anywhere but right here. I got no clue what's coming, guys. Clearly, Luffy isn't going to die, but the Straw Hats are going to have to rush over and help him. Problem is, our two big hitters, actually our three big hitters, are busy. Jinbei's now protecting Loki and Ragnar, right? Our other two guys are fighting Killing Him and Summers. They don't even know that Luffy just got gored. So I don't know what's going to happen next chapter. My going theory for Emu is now that he's probably just going to be done with Luffy, Luffy's probably going to transform back to his normal form. God knows what Emu's going to do, if he's going to try to take Luffy with him, or, hurt him again, shoot him off of him, like throw him off, or whatever he's going to do. But I imagine he's going to go over to Shuri next, pull her from the ice or whatever's left, the puddle, wherever she's sitting, take her back from the Straw Hats and Brook, and he might kill Brook, guys. Or I wouldn't say he'd kill him. I don't think Oda wants to kill any of the Straw Hats, but he's probably going to fold Brook the same way because he knows that Brook could be a problem for Shuri. So, wild chapter. I'm very excited. I love how it went. And honestly, guys, I couldn't be happier for how Oda's handling this. This is the best thing Oda could have done, is letting Luffy get, like, no diffed by Emu. This is still setting Emu up to be a massive problem for us. And even later into the story, because now we are going to need arcs to train. Not one arc. We are going to need time to train. We're probably going to have to beat up some other bad guys along the way. God's Knights, more Gorosei, Blackbeard, the Marines. I don't know, guys. It's going to be something, I'm sure. But Luffy's going to have to clash with other people and grow his haki and become stronger. Maybe find a way to better utilize his awakening. Something. But he doesn't have it yet. So, but with that being said, guys, I hope everybody, if you still are watching, go ahead and leave a like down on the video. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen next. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss anything. I hope everybody's had a great week. And I hope everybody has a great week to come. I'll probably get out something else other than my Hunter x Hunter review tomorrow. But we'll see. Maybe I can get out a theory on this. But I hope everybody has a good day and or enjoys the rest of their night, day, whatever time it is for when you're watching. So have a good one, guys. Later. Bye.